Good evening, everyone. I'm Art Hartel, Chairman of the Citizens Communication Council. This is our first meeting for the year. The first piece of business is the election of chair and vice chair and secretary for the committee for the ongoing year. Do we have a nomination for chair?
I'll nominate you, Art.
Thank you.
Retain your position as chair.
All right. Any other nominations? Okay, then that takes care of election of the chair. Vice chair, do we have a volunteer or some?
Do we have, I have a question. Do we have a sitting vice chair at this point or no?
No, we do not.
Okay.
So, Brian, you're the senior in service.
Okay.
Would you?
I'll be willing to be vice chair.
Okay, so you can be.
Anybody else want to be vice chair?
Okay, so, and secretary, Jim has served that role for us in the past, and I would suggest that we renominate and re-elect Jim Dooling for the role of secretary.
I would second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the officers for the oncoming year is Art Hartel as chairman, Brian Kirby as vice chair, and Jim as secretary. There are no announcements, so we're going to have reports. So the first report is from Radnor Studio 21, George Strimmel. George, would you give us a report, please?
I'm George Strimmel. I am the general manager of Radnor Studio 21 and have been so since, well, for the last 15 years, in case you missed all the exciting developments on Radnor Studio 21. I would also, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, like to acknowledge the new members of this board who have been seated and welcome you. I think most of you are familiar with what we do at Radnor Studio 21. We are the public operation in a world of public, educational, and government channels. That's what they talk about when they talk about our kind of sort of hyper-local. We have been expanding since last we met into Lower Merion and Narberth and have taken over as their public access operation also. Which, along with the distribution, and I might commend our friends at Comcast for the ease and rapidity of making that happen on obviously the Comcast channels down there, channel 99. In addition, our friends at Verizon also did the same and made sure we were both on our original channel down there, 21, as well as 34. So with the additional expansion that Verizon has taken us out to beyond Westchester, down to Glen Mills, we have probably 90,000 households that we are reaching. Now, does that put any additional funds into our pocket? The answer is no. But it does bring us new people to become involved with what we are doing. So slowly we at Radnor Studio 21 have become, well, 21st century television for the main line. In any case, that's what we are doing. And another great event of this year is the fact that we produced a program with the help of one of our volunteers who now sits on your board, Mr. Ricciuti, and it was called SEPTA in Motion. And it was one we pulled together some money, not a lot of money, we pulled together some money and put together a team of people who had been interns and volunteers at Radnor Studio 21, people who are currently volunteers and interns at Radnor Studio 21, and made a film, a 40-minute film. I brought along this bag because one of the things we won for that was this award. It's called the Hometown Media Awards. The Hometown Media Awards are given, maybe I should put it out here so somebody could spot it. But anyway, the Hometown Media Awards.
Jim, is there a way we can focus on that?
I don't know.
On the cameras?
In any case, there it is. And they are given to certain categories around the country. This is a group, the Alliance for Community Media, that represents upwards of 3,000 access stations everywhere in the country. And it was determined that the best documentary done by an access center, indeed, was Radnor Studio 21's SEPTA in Motion, which was done by our group and in terrific cooperation with the SEPTA management and employees. And it has run all over the place. Now, it's not the only one that we do that runs all over the place. In addition, here we go. We won this particular award, which is a silver telly. There, let's go. I'll go back and show you that. There it is. That's the Hometown Media Award. And you can see.
The house is at a kilter, George.
I acted as executive producer, and Isaac Mell, one of our longtime interns, director, and John Ricciuti, also here, air filter, I'm not too sure about. In any case, Michael Brand, Julia Headley, who is on our staff, all together we did this with a lot of other people involved. And so that was presented in 2015. Maybe I should put this person down here, right there, and put it over. For that is a silver telly. The Telly Awards are awarded internationally in this case. This is a People's Award. Throughout the country and the area and the world, they vote on what's the best documentary. We won that too, worldwide. And that's a Telly Award, and that's what they look like. In addition, we did win an Emmy, and now an Emmy enters. There it is. Now, this doesn't happen to be the actual Emmy we won. It happens to be one I had won before. But that also was given to Radnor Studio 21. We won, in total, 4 Tellys, 1 Emmy, and 1 of our own awards. So it has been a banner time for Radnor Studio 21. At the same time, we were growing with the addition of our friends over at Lower Merion and Narberth. So more and more we grow. Has it given us more to do? Yes. Has it changed our emphasis and focus? It has not changed our emphasis and focus for 1 minute from that which we have done for the last 15 years. So briefly, that's our report. Now, I am open ever to more questions.
Any questions from anybody on the panel? Any comments from anybody on the committee?
Big congratulations.
Oh, well, thank you.
Excellent.
The question that it begs is, what's going to happen in 2016? Are you going to do more production?
Well, there certainly will be more production. Whether it will be award-winning or simply award-seeking remains to be seen. We think a lot of the programs we do are unique. I mean, our longtime show, Dr. Nancy, now runs on Chicago access. Now, there's no dollars and cents in this. This is not what you might see in other television things. It simply is to share with others as they share with us for some of the programs we do. And incidentally, our programming right now is a 42-hour week, and we run a prime time from 6 o'clock to midnight every day. Those programs are then repeated 3 times, which obviously brings us around to 6 o'clock the next day. That could be expanded as we have more programming to make it an 8-hour day, but right now it's a 6-hour day. And that assures that things are seen not only in prime time, but in overnight in various other day parts, overnight, morning, and afternoon.
Just to clarify, running a 6-hour day, you have 4 episodes of that 6 hours, so that you
That's
now repeat the one show 3 times.
correct.
So if you expanded the number of programs that you had, you could not fit it into the 6-hour day, so you'd go to an 8-hour day.
Correct.
Which would then mean that they would repeat twice more.
Yes.
So there'd be 3 repeats, or 3 showings of it.
That would be what would happen.
Okay. So you do have within the framework of what you're doing, some room to expand the programming that's now going on the station.
Correct. Now, we're standard def, we're still in standard def. We have you hope that someday we might go to high def, but right now you'll still find us on 21 in the standard def situation. The cable companies can better speak to this, but in the future, there'll probably be everything will be in high def. But right now, that's the only equipment we have.
Good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If
I
there's
will
no
pack up.
Questions or comments?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to congratulate you, George, and I want to congratulate you in the studio on your tremendous work. I also just had a question in terms of, you mentioned the expansion into Lower Merion and Narberth, and that is simply a geographical expansion of your broadcast. It's not taking on any additional, they didn't have existing
No,
facilities.
we
or anything
operate
there.
everything out of Radnor Studio 21. There is an auxiliary studio in Ludington Library. Right now, that situation is in a 6-month trial period. At the end of February, a decision will be decided whether that is a good idea or whether they'd like to go a different direction. We have lots and lots of new programs and lots of new people coming in through there. Literally in the hundreds. But since we have an efficient way of dealing with them, they come through, they do the show, and they go out. It works very well. But it has not, we're not moved. We're still sitting in the same place we were before.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
George, thank you very much.
Okay, I'm going to just pack up, for the next people so they don't get
They don't
surrounded
take
by
your
all
awards
this
away with
metal
them.
here. So I'll put this one back in its little coffin. They come neatly wrapped. I have 3 more of these, but I didn't bring them.
It would be an excess, George.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We have a report from Comcast.
Hello, I'm Jen Boyette from Government Affairs at Comcast. I work with Kevin Broadhurst, who you might be familiar with. I honestly don't have anything new to report. It's a new year for Comcast, business as usual. We're still doing our Internet Essentials program, which is a big push for our Government Affairs Community Investment department. But we offer the internet for only $9.95 a month to families with children and free or reduced school lunch. Sorry about that, random earring debacle.
Good heavens.
At any rate, so we still push that to a lot of the lower income schools so that all those kids can get online. We're trying to help bridge the digital divide and give them easier access and obviously a better price point so that that is possible so that they can do their homework at home rather than have to go to a library or a Dunkin' Donuts to use their Wi-Fi or whatnot. We find a lot of people have the smartphones but then not the internet access, so then they'll go to a Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's and do their homework on their little phones. So at any rate, we're still pushing that program. It's our 5th year we're going into now. But other than that, I see we're also 6A, so I'll wait, but let me know if you have any questions.
Good. Any questions from anybody on the committee? No? Joan, thank you for coming in, and we appreciate it. We thank you for the help that Comcast has been.
Sure.
Thank you.
Great, you're welcome.
We don't have anyone for Verizon?
Good evening.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Janet Miller. I am the FiOS TV Franchise Service Manager for Verizon for Pennsylvania. I don't have anything to report either. I did meet with Mr. Dooling before the meeting started to talk about the studio and the PEG channel move, and we'll be scheduling a site visit to begin that process. But I'm happy to answer any
And the purpose of the
questions.
site visit is going to be?
I'm sorry?
The purpose of the site visit?
To decide how to get the equipment moved from where it's located now up into the new space where it will be on the second floor.
Okay.
And also to decide how to reroute the FiOS TV cable connection
Okay,
from down here to up there.
okay, good, thank you.
So other than that, do you have any questions for me?
I just have one question George alluded to in his presentation. I'm just curious as to, and I probably should have asked this of Comcast as well, in terms of the feasibility or timing of moving Radnor 21 to HD, do you have any thought on that, or what, I mean, is there any expectation around that? I'm sure that's been raised with you in the past by George, and I'm just wondering if there's any sort of timeline for that to happen.
Verizon has no timeline. At the present time, we do not broadcast any PEG channels in Pennsylvania in HD format. And at this time, I'm not aware of any plans to begin doing that.
Good, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much for coming. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
If you don't mind, I'm going to leave so I can travel back to Harrisburg.
Please, safe journey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Have a good night.
Jim, I'd like to insert into the program a report from Jim on the,
Oh, Jim, I
not
said
Jan.
Very
Jan.
similar, sorry.
Yep, sorry
I
about
was
that.
seeing the 6A, I thought I was back up. Sorry.
Sorry.
No, you.
Hello, everybody. People watching at home will probably notice that my back is to them because I'm the one that actually does the TV channel, so that's why I'm out here to report. Real quick, I'll let you know, we do 13 meetings like yours a month in this room, basically almost Monday through Thursday. I do them all. Some are quick and easy, some are a little bit long and fun. We also do 4 programs, Radnor 411, Radnor 911, which is with the police. Radnor 411 is an informational program we do once a month. Each department, except for the police, report on any kind of updates or just give a report from each of their department as what's happening in the township in their department. We do a program called Radnor Health Matters with the Board of Health. And we also do a program with the township manager called 30 Minutes with the Manager, where he interviews 1 or 2 guests in a 30-minute time frame. RTV, we also do special events in here if somebody rents a room out and wants the meeting recorded. Sometimes the League of Women Voters rent the room out for their candidates forums, stuff like that. And then the other thing the channel does is when there isn't any program airing, we have a scroll or electronic bulletin board which gives announcements of upcoming meetings and any events that, you know, through the township or community. Art had asked me about, like with the snow coming this weekend, what we do, and we haven't really done any kind of video report or anything like that, but what we usually will do is take the scroll and we'll post any relevant information on the channel so people can see it, if they can't get to our website or anything. A couple other things I wanted to mention. First of all, I wanted to thank Comcast and Verizon. Every time I have a question from whether it's a resident or myself, they've always both been very timely and they've been great to work with, so I really appreciate that. The other thing is to better utilize the building space, and we are growing with our programs. They decided to move me out of the space over here, which is an odd shape and a smaller space. They moved me upstairs to a bigger, nicer space. And so I am getting bids from companies to see what it'll cost to move all the equipment and possibly purchase some new equipment, because a lot of this equipment is over 10 years old. We've lost a few pieces, but I pretty much, with my budget, I don't replace anything unless it dies on me. But with the move, we're looking at maybe a couple of big things. Like, I know the microphone system we have here is proprietary, so we can't get those microphones anymore. So that was on my list to replace anyway. So that's definitely something we're going to do. But and then both Comcast and Verizon have been in talks with them about getting a couple drops up there, and then also being able to run the program out from there to get back to their head ends. That's about it.
Jim, when you move the equipment, will you still be able to monitor what goes on here and make sure the broadcast is being
Yes.
properly done?
Yeah, I'll just be up a flight, so like when you call me out, I'll have to come up and down, but.
Slide down the banister.
Other than that, for other meetings where I don't come up here, I'll try to rely on the chairman and the people to remember to turn their microphones on, and because that's the biggest problem is like, and I know you being up there, you're trying to concentrate on what you want to say, and you forget to, or new people forget to turn on the microphones, and that's just usually the biggest issue we ever have. Or if somebody brings some show and tell and I wasn't aware of it and they pop it on me. So, but other than that, yeah.
Okay. I think, well, I appreciate your giving us that update. When we get to new business, I want to talk to the committee because I think one of the things that we need to do is to get updates from you and also from the school channel. So we'll talk about that as to how we facilitate that.
Absolutely, that's fine.
But I would like to add that as a normal part of what we do every month. So we'll get more into it, but thank you
Okay.
very much on
Absolutely.
short notice for coming up. And, oh, I had one question. You mentioned 411, the Health Matters, 30 Minutes, a couple of other programs. Do you have a regular schedule for that, so that people can see them at a given time so they know when to look at them?
Yes, we broadcast on Fridays. I was doing them Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but there's a lot of meetings, and more people I've spoken with want to see the meetings and the meeting replays than my programs. So basically, every Friday afternoon and evening, we'll replay those meetings. Sometimes if we don't do a 911 each month, like 411s every month. A couple of the others mix around, like the Board of Health. Sometimes we miss a month or two. So we'll play those on Fridays, but they're all available on our YouTube channel, so people can always check them out anytime they want. Of course, as long as they have the internet connection.
Okay, but they normally run on a Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Any given time?
Starting at 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And so 3, 4, 5, 6. And then usually, like, when I start the weekend replay of the business meetings that have occurred, I start at 6 p.m. usually for those.
Okay, good. And the scroll will tell you basically when the programs are on?
Absolutely, correct. We use electronics equipment, and the first slide that appears, it tells you what is upcoming. You can also find it on the website as well, too.
Good.
What is the projected timeline on the move, just out of curiosity?
Well, it's government, so I've got to get bids and permissions and run it up the ladder and everything, so I don't have really a projected timeline. I'm pushing these people to try to get it done, but I haven't heard. I've had some demonstrations of equipment and people coming in to look at everything and measure stuff and everything, but nothing as of yet.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
The old business proposed Comcast renewal agreement, that's still under negotiation. I haven't seen a copy of it. Do you have a comment?
Right, just that I know your lawyers gave us your latest version, so our guys are looking at it. As far as Kevin says, I'm kind of in the peripheral on this. I know you guys are dealing mostly with Kevin, or your mediators are, but yeah, we have it and we're looking at it, and that's the last we both heard. So
Good.
they're still looking at it as far as I know.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate it.
That's it?
Thank you,
Thanks.
Janet. I want to open up a little bit of new business on this, just to refresh everybody's understanding of what we do as a committee and where we go, where we're going, perhaps as we go in the future. The Cable Council, or as it used to be called, now the Citizens Communications Council, really has oversight of all three of the PEG channels. And the three PEG channels, just to remind you, are the government channel, and Jim gave us a presentation tonight of some of the things that they do on the government channel. the school board channel or educational channel, that's PEG, public. Education and government. I'm trying to get my PEG spelled right. And the public is the public access, which is now being serviced by Channel 21 or Studio 21. So these channels are there for the purpose of providing specific information and programming from one of those three sources. I think one of the underused channels that we have seen, and we're going to specifically ask Joan Cusano, who is the school board representative, to make a presentation next time, but is the educational channel. And we might want to think about ways in which programming on that channel might be expanded. So I would like, in going forward, if the committee is of like mind, to see presentations not only from 21, but from the government channel, the educational channel every month, so that we know what's going on, at least program-wise, and what other help or whatever they may need from the council as a council to help them get their job done, which is to keep in communication with the citizens of the township, giving the citizens of the township the opportunity, where possible, to participate on those channels and to further enhance the community through the television network that's provided by PEG. So I think in our upcoming meetings, we will not only focus on, as we have been, on Channel 21, but the other two outlets of the PEG channels that we have provided here, to see how we might maximize those channels as part of the community. We know that since Channel 21, or the public access channel, was given over to Channel 21, Studio 21, they have done a very good job of involving the community and bringing the community in. It's open to members of the community to come in. All they have to do is to call George, come in, talk to him. If the programs are suitable, they will go on the air. So they're open to all Radnor residents or to people that are sponsored by a Radnor resident. So one or the other has to be part of the program in order to qualify to go on Channel 21. But it's pretty open. We have a lot of programming done by a lot of folks along the main line, all of which enhance the community as we go forward. So we have two other outlets in the PEG family of channels, and we ought to think about ways in which we can enhance that community interaction on those. So if that meets generally with the committee's views, we will add that to what we're doing every month or every meeting to try to encourage the growth in programming and the growth in community involvement on the other two channels. Does anybody have any comment?
Well, I mean, I've been on this committee for, I think, 3 or 4 years now, and Jim's presentation tonight was enlightening from the standpoint that I never really appreciated the fact that there was actually sort of uniquely produced programming going on here at the government channel. Your comment a little while ago about Joan making a presentation next month about the high school channel, the educational channel, and the question of it's being underutilized is also sort of news to me, and I guess kind of concerning, but also exciting from the standpoint of perhaps being able to maximize that resource. So I would fully support the committees getting more involved in in hearing more about those other two channels and seeing, how we might maximize their use in the community involvement. So I agree with your suggestion.
Any other comments?
And I would just second it as, this being my first meeting and being a new member, I think I would find it extremely beneficial to understand what the programming is, what the overall goal is, and what the challenges are in terms of programming on those other channels as well.
Good. Thank you, Damien. So Jim, next time we put an agenda, put a place for you to report, so you're going to have to run up and down the stairs quickly, or we'll make some other provision for you. And also for someone from the educational channel, which is now being represented by the school board. So if you would do that onto our next agendas, we'd appreciate it. We have any public participation? We do not. Any other comments or observations from any member of the council? No?
Well, I just wanted to welcome, George had done it, but I think we got to welcome our new
Yes.
members to the committee. So.
And actually, Suzette is a relatively new member. So, Suzette, do you want to introduce yourself to the Radnor community and give them just a little snapshot?
Hi, I'm Suzette Margolis. I've been on the council for a few months, not very long. I guess last summer I joined. I'm a Radnor resident, involved in education and marketing consulting professionally, and very interested in watching our communication structure within Radnor change and grow with technology.
Thank you. Damien, why don't we stay on the side over here?
Sure. Good evening. My name is Damian Enderly. I also am a resident here in Radnor Township. Recently moved back to the area with my wife and daughters after 20 some odd years in the Washington, D.C. area, but I am a 1985 graduate of Radnor High School. I grew up across the field here and through the woods on Meadowbrook Circle, so I consider myself a lifelong Radnor resident. I have two daughters, both in Radnor Middle School. I am also a marketing professional in professional services, and I'm happy to participate in this council, participate in the township.
Thank you. And John?
Hello, I'm John Ricciuti from Radnor Studio 21. I am a producer there. I owe my opportunities to George Strimmel. I worked for SEPTA for 40 years before I started to do television production at Radnor Studio 21. I was part of George's project. I live in Radnor Township. It seems to be a prerequisite.
For this council?
Yes, well, I was assumed. Yes, I'm a television producer there. I was part of the project that we won an Emmy for. George is third, my first. As soon as we get it, it'll be up on my fireplace mantle.
If you could wrestle it from George.
It'll be another gift from George, yes. We're working on two other projects, documentaries, one on Vietnam and another project on George and I hope to be driving another SEPTA project, no pun intended, regarding the mainline railroad, and we hopefully with George and I can do that in cooperation with the Lower Merion Historical Society. So I'm very pleased to be a part of the council. Thank you very much for having me, and that's about it.
Thank you very much. Well, there is no other business, I think, before the council, so thank you very much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We are adjourned.